Have you ever typed out a flawless text only to be betrayed by autocorrect, changing "let's eat grandma" to "let's eat grandma"? Well, in the coding world, that's what we call a slight error. Welcome to our Lawforama on error and exception handling, or as I like to call it, how to not accidentally devour grandma in your code. Error and exception handling in programming is like your brain when you stub your toe. You know the pain is coming, but you've got to handle it without screaming out every word in the no-no vocabulary. It's about expecting the unexpected, catching those sneaky bugs, and not letting your program crash and burn like my attempts at cooking. Imagine you're on a first date at a fancy restaurant. You're trying to impress, but suddenly you spill wine all over your date's favorite white shirt. That, my friend, is what we call an error in the dating world. Now you could either bolt out of the restaurant, bad idea, or handle it like a champ with some quick thinking and a napkin. That's exception handling. It's your "oops, let me fix that" toolkit. In the coding universe, errors are like those awkward moments. Syntax errors? That's like calling your teacher mom. It's just wrong and embarrassing. Runtime errors are like realizing you're out of gas in the middle of nowhere. Inconvenient and totally avoidable if you had paid attention. And logical errors? Well, they're like arguing that the earth is flat. You think you're right until someone points out the obvious flaws in your logic. Exception handling is our digital superhero cape. It's preparing for those facepalm moments and having a plan to recover gracefully. Like having a backup joke when your first one flops, or an escape route when that blind date goes south. Remember, writing code without error handling is like going on a road trip without a spare tire. You're just asking for a breakdown. So let's talk about how to pack your coding toolkit with some just-in-case spares. First up, keep your error handling as simple as your uncle's conspiracy theories. Complex error handling is like a Rube Goldberg machine. Fascinating but overly complicated. The simpler it is, the less likely it will cause more errors. Think of it like a fire extinguisher, easy to use in a hot situation. Next, don't overdo it. Putting try-catch blocks everywhere in your code is like wearing a full suit of armor to a pillow fight. Sure, you're protected, but you can hardly move. Use them where it makes sense, like around code that depends on user input or external resources. You don't need a safety net for every line of code, just a high wire axe. Be specific in your exceptions. Catching every possible error is like casting a giant net over the ocean, hoping for tuna, but ending up with old boots and a tire. Catching only what you need and deal with it effectively. It's like knowing whether to use a band-aid or call an ambulance. Log your errors, but don't go writing your diary. Effective logging is like leaving breadcrumbs to find your way back, not writing a novel for someone to decipher. Provide enough information to understand and fix the issue, but don't drown in details. And there you have it, your crash course in not crashing your code. Implement these best practices and watch your programs handle errors like a ninja handles throwing stars, with precision and flair. Until then, keep coding, and remember, the only thing to fear is fear itself. And maybe an infinite loop.